The Real Health team visited Derek Archer from FitPro to find out more about the benefits of elastic resistance training. Let's take a look.
My name is Derek Archer. I co-own FitPro, which is a tertiary education organization. We qualify people in the fitness industry and further qualify them and improve their education once they've finished their main studies. And we're also involved with training athletes and your general population. Elastic resistance training has been around for quite a long time. There are different kinds of elastics available and based on what the specific use is going to be. Traditionally, elastics are used from a rehabilitative perspective, where they're not as psychologically intrusive from a resistance training perspective, but at the same time, they offer a resistance that changes, we call it variable resistance, and allows us to do smaller movements, work the finer muscles without putting too much strain on them, and that's, as I said, from a rehabilitation perspective, they are really good. But as training has evolved and as the actual benefits of elastic resistance have become more well known, the elastics have changed and evolved into more performance-based stuff as well. So they're utilized in the gyms, they're used for resistance instead of your traditional weight equipment, which is obviously influenced by gravity and so on, where an elastic you can use anytime, any place, anywhere, and if your training is objective-based, it's very easy to utilize the elastic as a tool. With a resistance band, you're only limited by what your particular injury or thing you may have, your body limitations, and by your knowledge. Essentially, we can utilize the resistance band to replace most pieces of equipment on the gym floor. So we could use it from, like I said, a rehabilitation perspective. We can use it to train your core structure. We can use it to train your large muscle groups to become a resistance for a big movement like a squat. As I said, with your core stuff, you can use it to resist an exercise like a crunch, abdominal crunch, or make a plank a little bit more challenging as well. And what's also rather important, particularly on I'll show some of the elastics a little bit later, because they are versatile, we can use them in the office space, we can use it in the sports field, the gym, we use them with a lot of athletes as well from a resistance perspective, and also from a way to improve their stretching, their flexibility, their mobility as well. To expand a little bit in terms of versatility, elastics can also be used for assistance. So you talk about resistance, yes, we're making an exercise a little bit more challenging, we're challenging the body from a stability perspective or a load perspective because the elastics are offering us more resistance. But for certain movements or for like stretching, the elastic can be utilized to assist us. Some people don't have the flexibility with the shoulder, or they don't have the flexibility at all to pull that right, damaging the neck or sitting right upright, whereas the elastic will offer us that. Or a simple movement, someone that perhaps isn't very comfortable doing a squat, for instance. They can secure the elastic around a stable platform, obviously not a doorknob, because you've seen all the horrors on YouTube when those come flying off. But secured around there, and they're able to use the elastic to help them to get up. So, like I said, from a versatility perspective, there are not many other tools out there that will offer this a challenge, shall we say. The elastics come in various strength forms, and usually depending on their origin in terms of the companies that produce them, they are color-coded based on the level of resistance that they offer. Children can use this, under supervision of course, obviously not shoot each other with it. They are relatively safe, as with any tool, once they're under supervision, and if the child has no underlying conditions that one needs to be aware of or cognizant of, there shouldn't be any problem at all. Okay, so these are a couple of examples of bands out there. This is a CLX band produced by TheraBand. It has a number of different loops in it that we can utilize for exercise, and like I said before, because we have variable resistance, I can use the loop count to gauge whether I'm getting stronger or not. So if I feel it's a bit easier, I take the loop slightly in. So remember, of course, that as the elastic stretches, it offers more and more resistance. So if I wanted to do a simple exercise like a bicep curl, just by standing on the band, I'd be able to offer resistance. And of course, as the elastic is stretching, so there's more and more resistance on the muscle, and the muscle is challenged more. The more stress, the better the adaptation will change. Obviously, once again, there are different colors, different grades. And as I said, this is a CLX band. There are other bands or variations of bands for different purposes. So we have two different ones here, the yellow being the lighter one and the blue being a little bit more challenging. We use this for a lot of rehabilitation stuff, hip mobility, strengthening or stabilizing hips for like runners and so on. As I said, once, if you know exactly what you want to work out or which muscles you want to work, you may utilize the band accordingly. Then we have some examples of flex bands. These come in a variety of forms and colors as well. In this particular set, these are jump stretch bands. The yellow one is a lighter band, and the reddish one or pink one is slightly more difficult. And as I said, I'll use the yellow one as an example. Regardless of where I secure it, I'm able to get resistance. If I was using normal dumbbells and so on, gravity is going to be the thing that offers our resistance or dictates our body position. Whereas something simple, if I had to do a bicep curl on here, I could do exactly the same movement and achieve a little bit more resistance. So I'm not limited as to where I can do it. In saying that, like I said, once you are aware what muscles you're going to work or you'd like to work and what action that muscle produces across a joint, it's very easy then to resist it. And we're not limited to utilization in a gym, of course. Here we're in a gym scenario, but someone that is in an office, someone that is even wheelchair bound, children, adults, performance athletes, definitely a good option for them.